Hello everyone. I hope you all must be doing very good and you all must be working very hard and you all must be following my instructions which I had delivered in my first lecture. So let's come to the topic, let's come to the chapter current electricity. What we have discussed so far in last lecture, I had told you about basic definition of current. Okay, and in this lecture we will be discussing about some relations about the drift velocity, about mobility, about Ohm's law, and these derivations are going to be very important. These derivations are also very important for the point of view of board examinations. So I would like you to pay attention on these derivations, go through each step one by one, and just after this class I would also suggest you to derive all the derivations after watching this video. Okay, so let's come to the point. I had told you in last class about definition of current. Okay, now in addition to that picture, let me introduce a few more points. One is about the direction of current. See, let me clear you the picture of direction of electric current. Direction of electric current. Students, as you all know that when we connect a battery with a conductor, what happens? Let me connect a battery. This is the cell. We can also call it cell, but right now I am calling it as battery. So this picture will be more clear in this chapter. So this would be at higher potential and this would be at lower potential as per the symbol of this battery. And what this battery does, this actually forces electrons to move, to get drifted towards this positive end, positive terminal. So here electrons, free electrons start flowing towards positive end of the terminal. So I can mention here this thing that free electrons show their net motion. Try to understand this, why I am calling it as net motion. This picture had already been cleared in last class. So their net motion is towards positive end of conductor. Fine. Okay, now listen one thing carefully. As per our convention, when we study heat, heat is the flow of energy, we all know. This energy flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. Okay, heat always flows from higher to lower temperature. Okay, in the same manner, if we have flow of water or flow of any fluid, okay, so this flow is in the same manner higher pressure to lower pressure. Is it clear? Higher pressure to lower pressure. So convention says that current must also flow, electric current rather, must also flow from higher potential to lower potential. As per the convention, everything flows, everything has a tendency to flow from higher to lower, higher to lower, higher to lower. But see in this picture, what is going on with these electrons? These electrons are moving from lower to higher. This is lower end, this is higher end. These electrons are getting drifted from lower to higher end, which is just in opposite to this convention. Are you observing this? Are you getting this? These electrons are moving from lower end to higher end. Means this is in opposite with the conventional part. Convention says समझ रहे हो ना, कन्वेंशन मीन्स ट्रेडिशन, मतलब जो चला आ रहे हैं. If we talk about heat, if we talk about fluid flow, if we talk about current, same situation should happen with electric current as well. So what do? We consider conventional flow of current, conventional flow of current from lower potential, sorry, higher potential, yes, higher potential to lower potential. Are you getting the point now? So that's why we say, we always take, although electrons are the charge carrier is flowing from lower to higher, but still we are considering the conventional flow of current from higher to lower potential. And the reason is behind this situation, behind this convention. Okay, so one more thing is there, that is if you check these 2 points, you will find out that conventional flow of current, conventional flow of current is opposite to the flow of free electrons. Is it clear, students? So this is very easy to understand now. Why do we consider flow of current from positive to lower negative end of the conductor, even in the case of motion of electrons, free electrons, from lower to higher end? So the simple explanation is behind this tradition, behind this convention. Okay, so this is one point. Now let's come to another point. Another point is about nature of current, whether it is scalar or vector. We all know that physical quantities can be described into 2 categories, scalar and vectors. So now we need to describe this current as a scalar or vector. Let's check this out. Next point, electric current. Listen it carefully, students. Electric current is what? Electric current is a scalar quantity. Scalar quantity. Many students might think that sir, electric current possesses direction. We show direction of current while showing it flowing through the wire. Then we show direction. Even we are showing direction of electric current, we call it as a scalar quantity. What's the reason behind it? See, reason behind it is it does not follow vector algebra. You can say this simple reason, that it does not follow vector algebra. I mention it as it does not follow vector rules. See how? Suppose this is the wire, and suppose this is divided in further 2 wires. Here we can call it this point as junction. So these are the branches of wires. Suppose 5 ampere current is flowing through this, entering in the junction, and here leaving current is 2 ampere. So as per conservation of charge, it is quite understood that it is quite easy to understand that 5 ampere current is entering, 2 ampere is leaving. So at the another branch, at the another end, 3 ampere current must be present. which must also be leaving. So here what we are doing, we are simply doing the algebraic sum. 3 plus 2 equals 5, right? So this is very easy to understand, that here the resultant is not depending on this angle. Whatever be the value of this angle, this sum will always be given by 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, so this does not follow vector rules. So this is the simple explanation, simple reason for scalar characteristic of current. Okay, now let us take few illustrations in order to understand, in order to get clear picture of current. So now come to few questions. See, suppose I am taking an important profile. Suppose we are having an electron. Here we are having an electron, and this electron is revolving in an orbit with the radius r. So we are also given an orbit with radius r, and this electron keeps on revolving with the speed, suppose v. Okay, now we are supposed to find effective current. Find effective current in the orbit. Find effective current in the orbit. Okay, so let's check this out. See, what is current? Current is what? Rate of flow of charge. The time rate of flow of charge, rather. So as you can see that there is only single electron which keeps on revolving in this orbit. So if you select any point on this orbit, you will see that within a single time period, capital T, you know this time period? This time period is that time in which electron completes its one revolution. So within this time interval, only one electron, only single electron must be passing through this point P. Okay, I just want to know that what amount of charge is passing through any point in this time period T. Then I'll get easily Q by T, from Q by T the value of current. So what I am doing right now is to find out value of charge passing through any point in a single time period T, and we all know that in one time period only this electron will pass through point P one time. Okay, so the amount of charge passing through P will be equal to simply E. So E divided by T will give us the answer, but T is not given to us directly, so we'll have to eliminate this T further, and everyone can do this simple calculation for finding out value of T, and that is what 2 pi r, total circumference, total length by speed. So in this manner you will get, after putting value of T in this equation, 2 pi r by v, and v goes in numerator. So this will be the result, final result. This is the effective current, okay, in the orbit. Further, if suppose we are not given v, we are not given r, suppose in terms of frequency I am to describe current, so that would be more easy. In that case you will write E by T, and 1 by T, 1 by time period is what? Frequency. So EF will be the answer in that case. Okay, suppose we are given angular frequency of revolution of this electron. So in that case omega is the angular frequency. Omega is what? 2 pi f. So you will write f as what? Omega by 2 pi. So this will become, this will also be very easy to write the answer in this case in terms of omega. So this will become E omega by 2 pi. Okay students, so this is a very simple illustration, very simple type of profile, but this is very important. Yes, it's true. So this is how we find out effective current in the orbit. Okay, in magnetism, in magnetic effect of current chapter, we'll also be finding out magnetic field, strength of magnetic field due to this revolution of electron produced at the center. So that is a different thing, that is not the part of this chapter. So let's come to another problem. Okay, another problem. uh, Suppose the problem is charge flowing charge flowing through a conductor varies with time as q equals 5t minus twice t square plus 4tq. Okay, now what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to find initial current. Okay, initial means at t equals 0. Initial current, just find initial current. And we are also supposed to find the time after which current becomes minimum, and we are also supposed to find the minimum value of current. Okay, part second and part third are related with each other. Okay, students, so firstly I would suggest you to pause this video right now and try to attempt this question, and just after 2 minutes approx come back to the video again, and let's check out this the solution and the answer now. Okay, so in first part, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to find initial current. Okay, so for that purpose we will have to find first of all current. And current, how do you write current from charge? This is given by dq by dt. And how do we get idea that this is the instantaneous current? Because question is demanding us to find initial current. Initial means at t equals 0, so at a particular time we are supposed to find out current, right? So that means that current is instantaneous. So instantaneous current is always written as dq over dt, and when you differentiate the equation you get 5t, differentiation of 5t is 5 minus 4t plus 12t square. Okay, you can this whole calculation at your end. Obviously this is very simple calculation with which we are dealing right now. And at t equals 0, as we are supposed to find initial current, t equals to 0, current becomes, after putting t equals 0 in this equation, current becomes 5 ampere. So this is the answer for first part, that 5 ampere current must be flowing initially. Let's come to the second part of this question. Time after which current becomes minimum. See, this is the simple application of maxima and minima. So what you will do, you will just apply the concept of maxima and minima. So first of all, write the equation for current, and that we have already found out in the last part of this question, that is 5 minus 4t plus 12t square. Okay, so this is what current, this is instantaneous. And how do we apply minimum and maximum concept? We first of all differentiate it, and the differentiation comes out as minus 4 plus 24t, and then after we put it as 0. Okay, so in order to find out minimum and maximum, we put this as 0, and when you solve it you get t equals 1 by 6 seconds. So this is the only time at which current is becoming maximum or minimum. Up to this step we actually can't say about maximum minimum. In order to be sure about maximum minimum part, we'll have to differentiate the previous equation further, d2i over dt square, and this makes it as 24, and which is greater than 0. So this is the characteristic for minima, isn't it? So that means this time is representing the time at which current is minimum, becoming minimum. So for second part, the answer is t equals 1 by 6 seconds. Okay. So if suppose this d2i over dt square was negative, then we would not get any minimum current. That would have shown maximum condition. Okay, so let's come back to the third part. Now third part, as I already told you, the third part is related with second part. Once you got the time at which current is becoming minimum, just put this time in the equation for current, and then you get I equals 5 minus 4 into 1 by 6 plus 12 into 1 by 6 whole square, and just it is to be solved. 2 by 3 plus here it is becoming 12 into 1 by 36, and when you solve it you get I think 14 by 3 ampere. So this is the minimum value of current. Got it? This is very simple problem. This is actually not the problem of current. If you see this properly, you will see the profile of maxima and minima only. Okay, clear? If still there is any doubt, I have already given you my WhatsApp number. Just contact me there. Okay, I'll clear each and everything. Okay, next question. Let's come to the next question. This question is very interesting and very easy to deal with it. Question is saying that current is given as 3t plus 5. Okay, there can be some different equation as well. I am considering intentionally, I am considering linear variation of current with time. Okay, I am going to tell you how and why. Okay, so in this question, what we are supposed to find? We are supposed to find average current. Average current between t equals 1 second to t equals 3 seconds. Right? So many of you will go through this formula that average current is delta q by delta t. So in order to find delta q, what do we do? In order to find delta q, we'll have to integrate this I like this. Okay, as you all know that I am doing this as a rough part. So I is what? Dq over dt. We all know this. In order to find q, what we should do? We should write like this, and q यहाँ से delta q निकल कर आएगा by integrating, after integrating this current with respect to time. So many of you will do like this, but I would not suggest you to follow this equation in this particular problem. The reason is see, mark it, and this point is to be noted. This is very important point which I am going to tell you right now. Here current is varying linearly with time. This is very important point. This is very important step of this problem. Current is varying linearly. So in the case of linear variation, every time we can write average value I1 plus I2 by 2. So you are allowed to use this average formula only in the case when current varies linearly with time. This is very important thing. So current, average current, what you will do, just write I1 at this. First of all, t equals to 1 second, write I1, and when you put 1, you get I1 as 8, and when you put 339 plus 5, 14 by 2, and you will get 22 by 2, matlab 11 ampere. So this is the answer to this problem. Got it? So this is only for linear variation. Okay, students. Now, these are very simple profiles which I have intentionally taken only for the keeping the board point of view and neat point of view. Okay, now I'm going to describe another topic, that is drift velocity. Drift velocity. What is drift velocity? Let me clear the picture of this drifting. In last class, if you have attended that class, you will get this picture very easily now. When you connect a battery to any conducting wire, what happens? So there is some electric field from positive to negative, obviously, and this electric field forces free electrons to move towards positive terminal. So what type of motion these electrons perform? See, I had already told this whole thing in last class, but let me repeat. The motion of these free electrons now remains obviously in zigzag, but between two any successive collisions, electrons perform curvilinear motion. Here we get some curve. Why do we get some curve? We get curve just because suppose electron is moving like this, and obviously electric field is towards right, but force experienced by these electrons must be opposite to the direction of electric field, matlab towards left. So what this force does on these electron, with the motion of these electrons, this force actually brings these electrons in curvilinear path like this. So this is, you can experience, you can feel this, that this is what going on, this is drifting going on with these electrons. Electrons are not following a straight path. What electrons are doing? Electrons are just getting drifted. This is what drifting. Okay, you might have done drifting with your bicycle or with bike. This is type of, what type of motion it is? This is a type of drifting. Okay, so this is what drifting. So in this manner, by doing such type of drifting, all the electrons tend to approach towards positive end. Okay, positive end, and this motion is quite random. Believe me, this motion is quite random, quite frequent, and this motion occurs at quite high speed, and we cannot observe, we cannot study motion of each and every single electron. That's why what do? We just replace this random motion, this high speed motion, with an average picture. I repeat, we just replace this whole motion with an average picture. Average picture means how? See, what we do once we got this idea that electrons, all the electrons are getting drifted towards positive terminal with very high speed, and also there are large number of, enormously high number of collisions suffered by electrons, obviously. So that collisions effectively and as an average, on an average, those collisions makes average motion, net motion of electrons very small. See, you can feel this. Suppose there is some very crowdy area, and you are moving hither and thither, and you are moving very at a very high speed, but when you calculate your average motion, you will find it very small. You will find average motion with very small speed. That is what happens with these free electrons. These free electrons find their motion, average motion, very small, with very small speed. So with very small speed, this is the average speed. See, just recall my point. What did I tell you? I just told you to replace this zigzag motion, this random motion picture with the average motion. If you want to study in a clear way, in a simplified way, then you will have to replace this random motion picture with this average motion, and these electrons reach finally at the positive terminal. So how do we define drift velocity now? See, let me come back to the point. Definition of drift speed. Okay, see students, I took more than enough time for describing drift velocity, because this is a concept which seem little bit confusing for many students. So I don't want any confusion. I want every and single picture clear in front of you. So that's why I explained all these things. Now I'll write simply the definition of drift velocity. What is it? It is the average speed of free electrons in a conductor with which these free electrons get drifted towards positive or higher potential end of conductor. Okay, we can add few more points. It is represented by Vd, and Vd order. If we talk about order of Vd is of 10 raised power minus 3 meter per second. Are you getting this point? 10 raised power minus 3 meter per second means few millimeters per second. Such a very small speed. When we observe actual motion, the average thermal speed is quite large. That is of the order of 10 raised power 5 meter per second. It can be of this order of 10 raised power 5 meter per second. But when you talk about average speed, drift speed, it comes out only 10 raised power minus 3 meter per second. So on an average, electrons show their very slow motion towards one end of the conductor from another end. Okay, I'll add this point to the another picture, to the another concept, that is I barabar NEAVD. Okay, we'll discuss in next class. This drift velocity concept took more than expected time, just because I wanted to explain each and everything. I wanted to put every single concept of this drift velocity before you. But no, not to worry about this. I'll manage this time in some coming classes. But as this is the beginning of this chapter, so I just don't want any compromise with any concept. Okay, so this is what drift speed, and obviously its unit is meter per second, and this is very small. Okay students, we'll be deriving in next class current and Vd relation, that is I equals NEAVD. You might have heard about it, and we'll also discuss about Ohm's law. Okay students, so till then, have a good luck, have a good time, and study hard. Okay, thanks for watching.